so I can stand up here and tell you what I think, how technology will change us. But I think it's really the imagination of 10-year-olds that will really tell us. So I periodically do work with kids in schools where we show up and we build things with them and we teach them how to invent stuff. And I work with an illustrator called Nick Dragotta, and we illustrate these things as projects, as comic books. It's a project called How-Toons. And the most exciting part of the visits to working with actual groups of kids is we get them all excited and we build rockets and we build marshmallow shooting guns and all of these things. And then at the end of that we say to the kids, well, if you could invent anything, what would you invent? And while they describe what they want to invent, they say what they want, I describe how you would go about inventing it, and then Nick will draw it for them, which excites the kids. So typically the 10-year-old boys will say, I want I would like a flying skateboard, or some permutation of flying and skateboard. That's the 10-year-old boy's vision of the future. And then I sit down and say, okay, that's doable today. This is how you would, you just need to design your wing large enough, or you just need to do magnetic levitation. This is how you would do the fields and figure it out. 10-year-old girls, infinitely more bright, infinitely more visionary in the future. What they typically want is a machine that can read the dreams of their friends and play it back to themselves. And then you say, holy cow, that's really hard. They completely stumped me. So this happened 2 or 3 times. I didn't know what to do. So I did a little bit of research and then found out that people are, in fact, starting to study how you might do this. I mean, it's a terrible experiment to describe to 10-year-old girls, because you take a cat, you cut the back off its head, you stick electrodes in it, you play movies from one screen, and you see if you can interpret the... This is done at Harvard, so maybe Larry, when he talks, can comment on ethics in research at Harvard. But quite literally, we will have the capacity to do that this century with advances in neuroscience. And I think that's an enormous game changer. That could either be the empathy machine, which really allows global empathy because you see people's nearest, dearest thoughts, or it's an incredible tool for control. Maybe one of the best examples was we were in the deep south somewhere, and this 10-year-old girl said, I want a robotic cow. And I'm scratching my head thinking, what on earth does she want a robotic cow? So I said, well, what do you want it for? And then she just went into this lecturing mode where she said to me, well, as you know, cows have 4 stomachs. The first stomach is going to be the wash cycle. The second stomach is going to be the rinse cycle. The third stomach is going to be the dry. The fourth will fold it. And then my robotic cow will walk around my room, eat my dirty clothes, poop fresh, pressed clothes into my wardrobe. And you're like, wow, that's actually a pretty astounding technology and probably doable this century, given advances in robotics. So that is to say that these 10-year-olds are going to, they really will make technologies that will change the world in ways we cannot anticipate.